There is a vegetable sitting in your kitchen right now that can outfilter a $50 canister. Most people cook it. A small group of aquarists use it to completely transform their tanks, and they almost never talk about it. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why nitrate keeps creeping back up, no matter how often you do water changes. And you will know a simple, nearly free fix that works with your filter instead of replacing it. Stick with me, because the part I find most surprising, the thing I genuinely did not believe when I first heard it, is coming up in the last third of this video. It has to do with growth speed. The numbers are hard to believe. All right, let's start where the frustration always starts. You set up your aquarium. You cycle it. You get your ammonia and nitrite to zero, and you feel good about that. Then, a few weeks pass. The fish seem a little off. Colors are dull. They are hugging the bottom. You test the water, and everything looks fine, until you get to nitrate. And nitrate is through the roof. So you do a water change. 50%, maybe more. The number drops. Then you test again 2 days later, and it is climbing right back up. You do another water change. You buy expensive filter media. Maybe you try one of those little bags that promises to absorb nitrate chemically. And still, the cycle repeats. Here is the thing nobody puts in the beginner guides. The nitrogen cycle is designed to stop at nitrate. Your beneficial bacteria do a tremendous job converting ammonia into nitrite and then nitrite into nitrate. But there they stop. Nitrate is the end of the road for them. And in a closed glass box, nitrate has nowhere to go unless you physically remove it with a water change or you give something a reason to consume it. In a river, that job belongs to the plants growing along the banks. The roots dip into the water, the leaves stretch up into the air, and those plants suck up nitrate and phosphate like they are being paid to do it. Your aquarium has never had that piece of the puzzle. Until now. Here is what I want you to try. A sweet potato. I know how that sounds. But give me a few minutes, and I will show you exactly why this works so well. And why it works better than most of the aquatic plants already growing in your tank. The key difference is where the leaves live. A plant that is fully submerged has to pull its carbon dioxide from the water. Water does not hold much carbon dioxide. This creates a bottleneck. The plant can only grow as fast as it can grab that gas, and in most home aquariums without a carbon dioxide injection system, that is not very fast. Slow growth means slow nutrient uptake. The plant is filtering, but gently, quietly. A sweet potato does something different. You sit the tuber at the waterline, just the bottom edge touching, and the roots grow down into the tank while the vines and leaves grow up above the surface into open air. Air has roughly 50 times more carbon dioxide than aquarium water does. The sweet potato can photosynthesize at a pace that a fully submerged plant simply cannot match. Some sources put it at 10 to 20 times faster. That difference in growth rate translates directly into nutrient absorption. The plant is hungry, growing fast, and your nitrate is its food. Think of it as adding a biological suction pump to the side of your tank. One that runs for free, gets stronger over time, and never clogs. Now, if you are still watching, good, because we are about to get into the 5 actual benefits. The 5th one is the one most people completely overlook, and it has nothing to do with water chemistry. Benefit 1 is what we already talked about: nitrate and phosphate control. These are the 2 compounds that accumulate fastest in a closed system and cause the most long-term harm. Nitrate levels above 40 parts per million start to stress sensitive fish and weaken their immune systems. You see it in dull color, in slow growth, in fish that seem vaguely sick without any obvious disease. The sweet potato chips away at those compounds continuously, day and night, as long as it has light. In heavily stocked tanks, hobbyists have reported keeping nitrate stable at levels that would normally require daily water changes. Benefit 2 is algae control. This one is deeply satisfying once you understand the logic. Algae do not appear because you have a dirty tank. They appear because of an imbalance. When nitrate and phosphate are high, Algae eat well. They are opportunists. They fill the space that a healthy plant community would occupy. But when a fast-growing plant like the sweet potato is competing for those same nutrients, and competing aggressively, algae lose. They lose because they are being outcompeted at the nutrient level before the algae even has a chance to establish. Green fuzz on the glass starts to thin out. Brown algae on decorations fades. Not because you scrubbed anything, but because the water got cleaner. This is the next part I want you to stay for, because the third benefit is one that genuinely surprised me the first time I saw it in a tank: the roots. When a sweet potato takes hold, it does not just grow 1 or 2 roots. It throws out dozens of thin white filaments that hang down into the water column in a soft, swaying curtain. And that curtain becomes a living space. For a betta, for small tetras, for guppies, for shrimp, those roots are shelter. They hide behind them. They rest in them. They use them exactly the way they would use overhanging vegetation at the edge of a natural stream. But there is a second layer to this. The surface of those root filaments gets colonized by microorganisms. Infusoria, which are microscopic organisms, and other tiny life. For fish fry, baby fish, this is food. Living, moving, perfectly sized food that does not require you to culture anything or buy anything. If you have ever tried to raise fry and struggled with first foods, the presence of a sweet potato's root system can make a real difference to survival rates. We are getting close to the best part. One more benefit first. Benefit 4 is biological filtration surface area. Your filter has media, sponge, ceramic rings, lava rock, whatever you use. And the value of that media is surface area for beneficial bacteria to colonize. The sweet potato roots add more surface area, a lot more, and it keeps expanding as the plant grows. So as your tank's bioload increases, as you add more fish, as the tank matures, the sweet potato quietly scales with it. You are not replacing filter media. The filter is growing itself. All right, here is the one most people miss entirely, and I saved it for last on purpose. Benefit 5 is environmental. Visual and environmental. Sweet potato vines do not stay small. Given light and warmth, they grow fast and they grow long. We are talking about vines that can reach several feet over weeks, trailing across the top of the tank, climbing a shelf, reaching toward a window. This is something called riparian style, emergent plants growing up out of the water, and it is genuinely striking. The tank starts to feel less like a box of fish and more like a little river margin. The transition between the water and your room becomes soft and living. And in homes with air conditioning running all day, which dries the air considerably, the transpiration from those leaves, the moisture the plant releases as it breathes, actually raises the humidity in the immediate area around the tank. For certain fish, this matters. For you, it just makes the corner of the room feel more alive. Now here is how to actually do this without making any of the common mistakes. First, use an organic sweet potato if you can find one. Conventional potatoes from supermarkets are often treated with a sprout inhibitor, a chemical that prevents them from germinating on the shelf. That chemical is the last thing you want in your tank. Organic potatoes are sold without it. The difference matters. When you prepare it, rinse it under plain, running water only. No soap, no scrubbing with detergent, just water. Position is everything. The potato itself should not go into the tank. You want just the very bottom tip touching the waterline, the point where the root system begins. A small acrylic holder works well, or you can balance it on the rim of a hang-on back filter output. The rest of the tuber stays dry. Light is non-negotiable. The leaves growing above the surface need light to photosynthesize, and without photosynthesis, there is no nutrient uptake. Without nutrient uptake, the potato does nothing useful and may begin to rot. A nearby window or the aquarium light itself can both work. If your tank is in a dim corner with no natural light, you may need to add a small grow light for the above-water growth. It does not need to be strong, just present. Then you wait. In about 7 days, you will see the first small white dots forming along the submerged bottom of the potato. Those are the root tips emerging. By the end of 2 weeks, the roots will have extended noticeably into the water column. 10 centimeters or more is common, and the first green shoots will be pushing upward from the top. By 30 days in, something shifts. The roots are dense, the vines are moving, and when you test your water, the nitrate number is lower than it has been in months, and it is holding there. Watch your fish during this period. If the nitrate was genuinely affecting them before, you will start to see the change. More activity, bolder colors. Fish that had been hiding start exploring again. The water clarity often improves too, because the phosphate reduction takes some of the cloudiness with it. A couple of things to watch for. If the part of the tuber that stays above the waterline stays damp, from splashing or humid air, it can develop soft spots or mold. Check it every few days. If you find a soft area, cut it away cleanly. The potato can recover from minor rot as long as you catch it early. If the leaves above the water start yellowing, it may be running low on iron. The plant is pulling so many nutrients from the water that it can deplete iron faster than your normal water changes replenish it. A small dose of liquid fertilizer, one that is safe for fish with no copper, will bring the color back. And keep the green sprouts above water. Always. The new growth needs air. If a vine tip falls into the tank, pull it back up. That is all there is to it. One organic sweet potato positioned at the waterline, given light. Your filter handles the ammonia and nitrite. The sweet potato handles the nitrate and phosphate and algae pressure and provides shelter for your fish and biological surface area all at once. None of those jobs cost you anything extra once the potato is in place. The best aquariums I have ever seen were not the ones with the most expensive equipment. They were the ones where the keeper understood that a tank works best when it resembles something alive. A little patch of nature in a box, rather than a machine being managed from outside. A sweet potato is about as close to the real riverbank as most of us are going to get without getting our feet wet. So here is what I want to know from you. Have you ever used an emergent or above-water plant to filter your tank? Sweet potato, pothos, peace lily, anything like that? Drop it in the comments. I am genuinely curious how you are doing it and what kind of results you have seen.